Hello ladies and gentlemen, Panzer here. So, the patch notes for the new PTR phase of Overwatch have been released, and there's a whole lot of changes. But there's one set of changes in particular that I wanted to discuss with you all. In the list of changes for Genji, it looks like he's getting hit with a massive set of nerfs. So, without further ado, let's get into the changes. So, the first thing on the list is that Genji's mobility has been affected. The double jump ability now does not reset while wall climbing. And this means that the delay between the double jumps does not reset until you're off the wall. As far as I can tell, you don't need to be back on the ground for it to reset, you just need to come away from the wall. So if you've wall climbed pretty high and jumped off the wall, you might still be able to get a double jump in before you touch the ground again, but either way, it means you'll be less mobile than you used to be as Genji, so you need to be a little bit more careful. At the same time, his dash ability has been changed too. You can no longer avoid or damage traps by dashing, and this brings it in line with something like Reinhardt's charge, which is also affected by the same restrictions. While I don't think it'll be too much of a difference, it's still worth noting now that traps are a more effective defenses against a flanker like Genji. The two biggest changes, however, are the changes to Genji's Swift Strike and his ultimate Dragon Blade. The Swift Strike can no longer interrupt his melee attack, meaning that you can't get a melee in before you activate Swift Strike. In the past, Genji players would be able to do a lot of damage very quickly by using their secondary fire on their shurikens and combining that with a quick melee and Swift Strike attack. But now it seems like that's no longer possible since you need to wait a second after performing the quick melee before executing the Swift Strike. As for his ultimate, the duration of Dragon Blade has been reduced from 8 seconds to 6 seconds, and this brings it in line with other ultimate abilities and makes it possible to counter-ult. For example, using Zenyatta's Transcendence ability is now an effective counter due to matching durations. In the past, you'd be hard-pressed to defend against Dragon Blade without high damage being done to Genji or by dispersing the team. Now though, you can more easily organize a defense, so players who are sick of seeing Genji play of the games where he wipes a whole team can now rest easy that it's going to be a bit harder for him to do that. At the same time, I've also seen some cases where Genji still has about 3 to 4 seconds to go on his ult and has already killed all the enemies near him and is just stuck running around looking for targets, so it's clear that his ultimate definitely didn't need to be as long as it was. Overall, these are huge changes, and as someone who saw Genji as being a very powerful but counterable character, I feel like nerfing him might have been necessary, but not to the extent that Blizzard has done here on the PTR. The main issue is not to do with changes to his Swift Strike or even his ultimate. I think those are actually okay. It's that the changes to his mobility, in particular his double jump, might actually be going a bit too far, because it seems like for characters like Genji and Tracer, mobility is their main strength, and their ability to get in quickly, mix it up with the enemy team, and get out just as quickly was the main reason to pick characters like them. But now it seems like he might wind up being no more viable than picking Tracer instead. At the same time though, I look at the changes to his ultimate and see that as being maybe something that was quite necessary, since there really wasn't any pressing reason to keep his ultimate going for a full 8 seconds when there are other ultimates that already last a specific duration, and this just seems to be able to outlast them. But of course, bring it in line with Zenyatta's Transcendence actually makes a lot more sense, since it makes it a more direct counter. But let me know what you guys think about all this. I'm not a huge Genji player, and I can't say for certain how damning these changes will be, so let me know, is Genji going to be a character you want to play now? Did he need a nerf, or is this going too far the other way? Let me know what you guys think down in the comments, and don't forget to leave a like if you've enjoyed the video, and subscribe if you're new to the channel. My name is Panzer, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.